Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am back with another one of my 12 authors of Christmas. I have with me the Construction King, Gene Johnson. I wish I had a mic. Construction King, King, King.
I like
So,
the
Gene,
intro.
yes, that's it. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. I am a builder, investor. In terms of my career, I got into this space in 2007 when the market was tanking and everybody was getting out. When I was telling my wife and even other people I was getting into real estate, everybody thought I was crazy because at the time it was the Great Recession. But I just knew I just wanted to do something different with what I was currently doing. Got tired of working paycheck to paycheck and decided to just take that leap of faith and get into real estate. And fast forward 15 years later, I've built and renovated over 500 houses and sold over 2,000 houses as an agent. So it's been really good, but it's been tough. It's been a journey. It's been a journey for sure.
500. Wait, you said you've built 500 homes or sold 500 homes?
Built and renovated over 500 houses. And then as an agent, I've sold over 2,000 houses.
No wonder you call yourself the construction king. That is
But it's been
amazing.
work. It's been a lot of work.
Wow, 2000. I can't even wrap my mind around that. That is incredible. So, I guess with the experience you've had, we're just going to dive into it. You had a wealth of knowledge to bring to writing your book, aptly titled. What inspired you to say, you know what, I'm just going to sit down and write this book?
A lot. What I realized over the last few years, because I have a coaching program in a school, and one of the reasons I started it was because, it motivated and inspired other people. And I was just doing what I naturally do. And so really the inspiration from other people. And I felt like I wanted to tell my story because it's a lot of people out there struggling with different things in their lives. It doesn't necessarily have to be, real estate, but just different things. And I just wanted to share how I was able to do it. And maybe there's something in my story that that someone can relate to maybe apply it to what they're doing and what they're going through.
You hit on something there because in the book you do give a piece of your backstory. It's not everything, but it's enough for people to, feel like they know Gene, and it's that you can take the points you make and yes, say, oh gosh, I want to be a real estate agent or an investor, and make those points where they make your career more robust, but you also can apply them to your day-to-day life. If you had to pick a point, like what would be the number one thing you would tell somebody going into real estate, like just number one, top, this is the most important thing you should be doing?
It's your mindset. Like I have a saying that if you believe you can, you probably can. If you believe you can't, you probably can't. Either way, you're right. In
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do, no matter what field you're in, what you're pursuing, it all starts with the belief within yourself. And that's the number one thing. If you can start with that, I think that's one of the most important things that it takes to be successful at anything that you're trying to do.
I like that mindset. I try to tell my kids when they're, Mom, I can't. Why not? Why can't you? You're smart, right? 10 fingers, 10 toes, two hands, two legs. What is it that you can't do? I'm not asking you to pick up a car. I'm telling you to clean up your room. So you're right. It's all in the mindset, believing that you can do it. Now, I know when you got started, you didn't think my life is going to become a movie, but baby, 2,500 houses later, that is exactly what it is. What part of your journey would you say was the most challenging part?
Just starting, because when I got into this space, I didn't know anything about real estate. And I was
Mhm,
actually supposed to go work for this wholesale company, and they went under. And then my wife told me, "Hey, you got your license. Why don't you go be an agent?" Didn't know anything about it. Went to a career night, learn and just got started. But even when I got started, it was very challenging. It took me 8 or 9 months to sell my first house. And
mm,
during that journey, I wanted to quit so many times.
mhm,
So the biggest thing is just getting started. Once you get started, you hit roadblocks and you just have to push through those roadblocks and figure it out. But even as you start to grow and build and get to another level, at every level there's going to be an obstacle. And what I found is that you have to really appreciate the process and the journey.
mhm.
And honestly, if I would have knew all the stuff I had to go through to get to where I'm at now up front, I probably wouldn't have did it because it's been hard. It's
Uh-huh.
been very stressful, a lot of sleepless nights. And even now, we have a lot of properties. It's not easy. It's never easy. But at the end of the day, I enjoy it and it's worth it. So just got to get started and go through it to get to it.
Yeah, you said a lot of projects. I think on one of our phone calls, you called me. You like, "Hey, Carla, how's it going?" I said, "I'm tired of chasing you down." But I mean, I get it. Just coming to the open house to see you the other week, when I pulled up, I was like, wait, where's the house? There were so many cars parked all up and down the street. I was like, I'm going to have to walk half a mile to get to this open house. It was so amazing to walk in there. And, Atlanta's this big metropolis. As soon as I walked in the door, somebody was like, DuPont, is that you? I mean, I knew somebody as soon as I walked in the door. So your impact has been felt, and you're doing a tremendous job educating people, getting their minds right, and showing them that it is possible. So taking that piece of how hard the journey was in the beginning as far as real estate, let's segue that into the book. What was the most difficult part of writing and publishing this book for you?
I've been thinking about it for a few years and again, just kind of getting started. Like
Mhm.
anything that you're trying to do, you just have to just start it. And once you start it, it just kind of gets easier. But just figuring out what part of my story I wanted to tell, because there's so many different levels to it.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was important to touch more on mindset and how I really built it through mindset and a lot of my principles. So, just trying to navigate what should I put out there and how I should say it and try to make it relatable to the people that are using it. But I also wanted to give somebody something that read it or who will read it in the future, something that they can apply to their real life or their journey. So I want to be intentional about giving them principles
Mhm.
that they can use that would be hopefully helpful to them.
So walk us through a day in the life of the construction king.
It's hectic. So today was a crazy day. Mondays are always crazy. I don't really do much on the weekends except this weekend we actually had a workshop.
Mhm.
We had a lot of people come to the workshop. So today was a recap of the workshop, intaking new sales, reviewing everything with the team, setting up our schedule for next year. We have so much going on. We got a TV show coming out. I got multiple projects that we're doing. Monday, subcontractors, project managers are calling me. They need this, they need that. Material wasn't delivered. We had one house that had a busted pipe.
Ooh, oh
Um,
yeah, it was so cold last night.
yep. So we had one property that had a busted pipe. Luckily, the water and stuff was on when he turned it on from the street. Of course, it leaked a little bit. We were able to catch it. I had another property. We had some lumber stole, so my project manager had to file a police report. It's just a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of moving parts with these houses.
Wow. Yeah, my heater died last night.
Oh wow.
My daughter woke up. She's like, "Mom, it's cold." I said, "Well, look
I'm
at the
sure.
thermostat." She's like, "It's 59 degrees." Like, there's no way. But I'm anemic, so I'm always cold.
Yeah,
But when my kids say it's cold, it's cold. So I called the heater company, like crying, like I cannot bring my children home from school and this heat is not
yeah.
on. Y'all don't understand. But yeah, so if you had to do it all over again, you mentioned wanting to write the book years ago. Do you think you now, since the project is finished, do you think it would have been as impactful, or you would have had the same lessons, like the same outcome if you started on it years ago, or are you glad that you waited?
I'm glad that I waited because I learned some. I mean, even with if I wrote it a couple years ago, it still would have been a good book. But I think now it's all about timing. It was just really good timing because I've been in this space for a long time, and when you're doing something, sometimes it's hard to relay certain things to people because it becomes second nature to you and
Mhm.
your habits just become second nature. But what I realized was starting the school a couple years ago, and it really took me back to when I first started. Like all those little things that I take for granted now are such a big deal in
Mhm.
terms of what people actually don't know. Like it's basic stuff that people don't know about real estate. And so by starting the school, and being around people who are just getting into the space, it helped me again relate to kind of the information they need. So by waiting, I think the book is going to be more relatable to people who are at ground zero trying to get to a certain level.
Oh yeah, because when I went through the book, I was like, I think I can invest in real estate. I told my son, I was like, we're gonna get some property
Yep.
because it makes you feel like you can start from ground zero, and here are the tools you need, and here are some tricks and mindset. Let's work on that mindset. So you're right, you did a good job with that. Now I want to ask you something from an entrepreneurial standpoint, because most of my 12 authors are novelists. So I just did a video about entrepreneurs in 2024. They need to write and publish a book. You already have a very successful business. You already have a very successful presence. You already have a community, a school. How do you think the book fits into your brand?
Really good. One, I think anytime you write a book, I think it always adds to your credibility. For sure. So that was one thing. And I already got 1,000 different ways I'm gonna market the book from
I'm
a
sure
from a
you.
business standpoint. I think we ordered like 300-400 books. I give out a lot of books at events and different things, but it just helps. It just helps.
Good. And I'm glad you said that, because that was one of my points on the video, credibility. It lets people know you know exactly what you're talking about. When you invest in yourself and the time it takes, the financial investment to get this thing done and say, hey, I have a book. It's not just you saying, I'm the construction king. It's showing people in black and white, I know what I'm talking about. So kudos to you. Last question before we get out. What advice would you give fellow entrepreneurs who are thinking about the possibility of maybe writing a book?
I would say just do it because one, it can definitely be another layer to your brand. It could be a good lead magnet. There's just a lot of things that come from writing a book. And you know what I learned a long time ago is that you're always going to attract who you're going to attract. So people want to hear your story, and then it makes your products, and it just makes you more relatable when people can understand where you come from and kind of how you got started. Because too many times now, like on social media, everybody looks at the end product but don't
Mhm.
realize what people had to go through to get to that product. And I don't watch a lot of like TV or anything, but I do watch a lot of documentaries, and it's just interesting for me to see people, that have accomplished so much and hear their backstory. I just watched a documentary about a month ago, and it was about the LA Lakers. And this guy had just won a championship and was millions of dollars in debt. They just won the NBA championship. And so it's like, wow, there are a lot of people go through a lot to
Mm-hmm.
get where they're at in life and just don't take it for granted. So people want to hear your story. People need to hear your story. And it's just going to make you and your brand more relatable.
Very good advice. Thank you so much, Jean, for joining me as one of my 12 authors of Christmas. How can the people find you?
Definitely on IG, it's Gene, Gene _Johnson 1. And then you can visit buildingbuildersacademy.com. It's our school. If you're interested in learning how to build from the ground up, how to find the land, and how to build houses, then I am your guy. So tap in. We have plenty of events out there so that you can get started and learn how to build.
Good. Thank you so much again for joining me. I'm trying not to keep you long because I know you are super busy, but thanks for making the time for me. And thank you guys for watching another one of my awesome hashtag happy clients, 12 authors of Christmas. All right. See you
All
soon.
right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.